Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Wednesday. Happy April 1st, April Fool's Day. There will be no jokes on this channel today, believe me. It's coming up on 4:30 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. I debated this morning on what I wanted to talk about. There were several things that were bothering me that I thought was important. I wanted to share with you guys to hopefully start a dialogue in the comment section or just in general. Um, and I couldn't settle on one, so I'm going to talk about a few different things. Um, the day before yesterday, I saw the numbers get a little lower, and I knew in my heart that I shouldn't get my hopes up. I had a feeling, and I read later that it was due to New York. Of course, is a good percentage of the new cases and deaths in the country. And on March 30th or March 29th, New York didn't record accurately. There was problems. So the numbers were low. It was a recording mistake. And when I woke up at 3 a.m. this morning, as I always do, or 2:30 a.m., and I check world meters, my site that I find the most quickest, most accurate, up to the second numbers, I was my heart dropped. Yesterday was the worst day by far. And now I think it's starting. They the healthcare professionals and everyone tell us over and over that the hardest period is going to be coming up. There's going to be a lot of deaths, and I think as human beings, we really don't want to believe this. We want to just look at our the daily numbers and say, well, it's okay, it's bad, but it's going to get better, and we don't really want to acknowledge that it could and it probably will get much worse. And that's what all those thoughts hit me all at once in a couple seconds as I looked at the numbers this morning. There was well over, I think it was like 24,000 new cases yesterday, the highest by far. The deaths, I believe, almost hit 1,000 deaths in one day yesterday, which was up almost double from the highest point before that. Um, Connecticut, we jumped up here. New York had ridiculously high numbers yesterday. I guess as we're starting to see the full impact of this, and like I said, it's April 1st, but there will be no jokes here on this channel today. Um, Another thing that concerns me, I am when I was younger, I had two different grandmothers, and they both taught me about my Native American background. Um, my father's mother gave me a book called Algonquin, and I put it all. I learned later that I'm part of the Algonquin people, and on my mother's side, I'm Micmac from Maine, Micmac Nation. Um, I'm proud. I'm proud of both of these. One thing that infuriated me this morning, I'm reading more and more about Trump's using his emergency powers as power grabs to do things that were on his wish list. Let's say, as we all know, it appears that anything with Obama's name on it, he gets rid of, regardless if it's beneficial to us or the country or whatever. Let's face it, I'm not exaggerating when I say he is trying to erase Barack Obama from the history books. Um, so this week they removed federal recognition of the Mashpee Wampanoag tribe from up here in Massachusetts and on the border of Connecticut and Rhode Island, their land. What this has to do with coronavirus, I have no idea. Again, it's this just disrespect for anybody who is not of European background and Protestant ancestry and background, I think, is what it comes down to. And Barack Obama's shoring up the Native Americans' land and their rights. So I think it's Trump sees it as his duty to his base to undo all that. I'm still reading into this. I'm reading about how the Supreme Court ruled that, I believe it was the Supreme Court ruled that the land agency, Trump's land agency, is required to remove some federal recognition from the Native Americans, from land trusts. I'm still reading into this. I don't know a lot about it, but I do know that the Mashpee Wampanoags lost federal recognition. And as a note, the Mashpee Wampanoags go back all the way to 1621. They were one of the tribes that originally shared the fall harvest with the Pilgrims. Yeah, that gets me very angry. Another thing is Trump rolling back the emissions, car emissions, the regulations. Now, this doesn't only have nothing to do with, well, it actually does have something to do with coronavirus. Coronavirus preys on weak respiratory systems, and the cleaner the air, the better off we are in battling this virus. So rolling back the clean air regulations right now, probably not the right thing to do. And I'm saying that sarcastically, very sarcastically. I don't get it. These are just a few of the things that he's done. A few other things to note. One of the aircraft carriers in the Pacific has a case, or at least one case of coronavirus, and they're very worried about the situation, the tight quarters there, and this spreading into a big problem. Now that's something that we're getting all these ideas now of how badly this situation is going to change the world. Every day, these new situations pop up that we've never faced before. And for me, it just leaves me with my mouth open. Like it's a startling situation. What happens if this happens to more than one aircraft carrier? What if it happens to the fleet? That's a scary thought. And then the prisons and immigration detention centers are just breeding grounds for this virus too. So I mean, this situation, I don't anticipate the next month being easy, let's say. So these are just a few things I want to talk about and discuss with you guys. I'm still reading into them, all these stories, and trying to get some more information on what's happening, why it's happening, and what we can do about it. All right. You guys have a good Wednesday, a good April 1st. Take care.